Hi, this is Peyton with Girls Gone Right.
Hi, this is Megan from Girls Gone Right.
And we have Will Pope with us here today. I didn't mess up the name. Huge news.
Way to
Super
go,
easy
girl.
name.
Yes.
Thank you for having a great name that is just so simple.
You're welcome. You can thank my mom for that.
Yes.
Way to go,
100%.
Mom.
Killer name,
She's a
easy
good
last name. I love that. So we have Will on. We are going to talk about some dating things from a male's perspective because we are girls. And we obviously...
Last time I checked,
we are girls. We are very different.
Hey, this day and age, you never know.
You never know.
have
True.
to triple
But we
check.
do know. We believe in generals.
We know.
And we think that, or we know that men have different perspectives when dating. And I think it's very interesting to hear what men have to say because I can name you 100 red flags that I see in guys, but to hear it from a male's perspective of red flags in women and such like that, especially in dating, it's very interesting.
Sure.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Will.
My name's Will. Originally, I'm from Kentucky. I've been living in Nashville for on and off for 9 years now. I used to be a professional singer, so I did professional tours since I was 8 years old. And that's why I've lived here on and off since
Music City.
Yeah. Did tons of stuff like that. Was able to tour the world. I've been to over 70 countries, which was a blessing I did not know that I was going to have.
Yeah.
You know, when I'm 25 and I'm doing it, and I'm like, I had no idea that I wanted to check this off my list of things to do, right? But then I kind of got home. I wanted to start a family. I wanted to get a community. I wanted to start just working on just myself and just building the life that I wanted to build. And so that's when I started to do business. I was really bad at that for a long time. And then I got really good at it, just as it should be with anything that you do. So I've done marketing world, branding world. Currently what I do is I actually make Amazon brands, make Amazon products. And what we do is that we just build those up to a certain EBITDA, which is just a fancy word for profit. And then we sell them, 3, 4 year, 5 years down the line, because you can sell them at a very large margin of whatever your profit is. And so that's the idea. And so then using that, I'm using that to basically wanting to make an investment fund for ministries that I'm going to be hopefully involved in, whether it's building churches. I want to make halfway houses and basically teach people how to make money in the new economy, because there's a really fine line there, and we're not factory workers anymore. I also want to make sure that people have the right identity, the right rest, and the right way to go through life, because that will make their lives way, way, way better. So that's kind of me in a very small nutshell. So
Wow. Okay.
That's great.
So that's incredible.
I'm not even mad. I'm impressed.
Oh, wow, thank you. That's just me.
Well, now I know
This is just my life.
Yeah. Well,
That is really cool. So you have a lot of experience doing different things, heavily in marketing.
yeah.
And, you seem to have figured it out, these business ventures for yourself.
I don't know if I've figured it out, but I am very good at just figuring things out, right?
Yeah.
So it's never done.
Yeah.
There's always something that comes up that I'm just I have no idea how to do this, but I'm going to fix it.
That's
It's
life.
fine.
That's life.
100%.
Well, I'll say with your very eclectic life, and you have traveled the world and met a lot of people, you probably have some very interesting takes and perspectives on the dating world.
I might.
Yeah.
We're going to find out.
Met a lot of eclectic people. Yes.
That's actually why I love Nashville, because Nashville has some of the most interesting people that I've ever met here. It's the weirdest. It's the
We live
weirdest,
here.
coolest hub. I mean, example A and B right there. Super cool people. Super interesting people.
Very interesting.
Yes.
We fall into the interesting category.
Interesting in a quirky way. I'm just kidding.
Nothing better. Nothing
In the
better.
quirky way. So how do you feel about dating? Are you currently dating?
Am I currently dating? Well, I'm currently single. So yes, I'm currently dating, I guess. Am I actively dating? That's the question, right?
Yeah.
Am I actually looking for my wife? Yes.
So we talk about dating a lot on this podcast just because prior to Megan, we were just single girls talking, navigating our single life. Megan's married, so she can give a different perspective on this. But
I'll try.
we have a lot of listeners too that are single, going through their waiting season, and we just constantly talk about how we're dealing with it and how you should be dating and how to date to marry. What should you be doing in your waiting season to prepare yourself for your person type thing. And, it's nice to have a male's perspective. And especially with the red flags, we did an episode on this, but we want to hear from a guy.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to get into the fun.
Don't hold back.
What are some red flags in women?
There's so many.
So you're dating in Nashville. You go on first date with
There's
someone.
so many in Nashville,
Yes.
100%.
Whoa.
You're on a first date, and what is something that you notice on the first date when a woman's, that conversation and there's a red flag?
If they never ask you a question on a date, major red flag. Major red flag. There has to be some, that shows your interest, right? By asking questions, wanting to know about the other person, right?
Yeah.
Major red flag. That's happened to me on a couple dates before, and the person later on was like, why didn't you ever follow up? I was like, do you realize that entire time you never asked me a single question about who I am or what I do or where I came from or anything about me? The entire time it was about you. And I don't fault people for that. Mostly it's just because people are like insecure.
Yeah.
And so they only can talk about themselves because they're like, oh my gosh, I've got to show how good I am, right? And I've got to impress this person, right?
Yeah.
But red flag, a rule that I live by is always be interested, not interesting. It's really
That's
good.
really good.
That's
That's
really
really
good.
good.
I like that.
You're welcome.
So do you tell a woman after a date, if they ask why you didn't reach back out or something like that, would you tell them like, hey, it's because you only talked about yourself or something like that?
100%.
Nice.
Yeah. How else are we gonna learn?
Yeah.
What else are we gonna do? I'm not
like
gonna be like you were a giant whatever, but I'm gonna be like, well, this was actually the reason, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's exactly how I want people to respond to me. People are like, oh my gosh, how can I tell this guy what he did? And he's like, yes, tell him so he can fix it. Otherwise, he will never fix it. And he will keep running into this issue without him even knowing.
So you're doing a service to these women.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're helping them
so.
out.
I think so.
You're like, hey, you did this, and I'm trying to help you for your next date. And it's not going to be me.
Feedback is important.
Yes.
Especially when dating, we're all human. And especially if someone's new to this or, they just don't know how to date in this world. It's really hard. I think it is good to give feedback. I don't want to keep doing the same wrong thing over and over again because no one's telling me what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah.
100%.
It helps.
100%. And I think that there's that big disconnect is that no one knows how to communicate like that because we have such this offendable kind of persona and spirit that we have in America.
Yeah.
That means anything that you say against me that you don't agree with, I'm automatically attacking your character and your identity. And you're like, what? Are you what you do? Is that all you are? Is that the limit of a person that you are? Or is it who you are, how are you going to treat people, what you're going to do for your family, your friends, your community? Those are the things to look at.
Yeah.
Values.
Right?
Yeah.
Life values.
That is so important. I think you are so right when you say we have a lack of connection and communication, especially when dating. I think it's crazy where we are at. You have to go through a talking stage. You can't text someone after a date because you have to wait a certain amount of days to
never
play
double
it cool.
text, that whole thing, right?
It's insane. And then people give into this. There are people that participate in these toxic trends and won't text someone back because they want to play hard to get and they want the chase. And it's insanity.
Yes.
It's so scary.
I'm going to be honest. Sometimes I intentionally do those things. Just I don't not text people back, but sometimes I will do I will double text or I will be do 2 dates in a row, like back to back days because I want to see how interested the person is. I don't want to do this entire game scenario where none of us knows how we feel and we're all just really just talking to other people and it's Nashville. So you can get on Hinge in 3 seconds and find 30 dates.
Yeah.
Especially for girls. I know that's a large case. And so I try to break the mold a little bit just to see how people respond. Because if people respond negatively, red flag.
Yeah.
Big red flag.
Yeah. It's like they're immature.
Yeah.
Because they want to play these games.
Yes.
And dating is not a game. I think my perspective is date to marry. If you're not going into that date, this person could be my potential husband and I'm going to treat him with that respect instead of I'm going to leave this date and talk to a bunch of other guys on my roster. That is so toxic. And you are there's the potential that man is your husband and you're going to treat him like that. and you're going to treat him as just an option and go out with all your other dates and see what else is out there.
It's like a buffet.
Play a game just to feel it out.
Yeah. And how many times do you go to a buffet and actually find a good steak?
Well, you just
Never.
keep going back for all the little things that you like. You know what I mean?
And never,
That are like
but never
subpar.
find the thing that actually
you're
fills you up.
Yeah.
And then you leave
You know?
and feel like crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is your take on like the whole hookup culture and everything?
The hookup culture, I mean, that's a broad statement. Honestly, the hookup culture today, I think is killing all of our intimacy. It's killing all of our real dating, all of our actual family building. It's killing our family unit. It's killing any type of hope and any type of future that women and men want, because it's completely taking out any sense of responsibility. It's completely taking out any sense of commitment.
Yeah.
And that just destroys it all. So, and then it makes bitter people. And yes, I tend to think that women hold bitterness in a different way than men.
Yeah.
Women hold bitterness in a jaded kind of way, and men hold bitterness in a depressed, removal kind of way.
Yeah.
You know, they will go into video games. They will go into anything that does not involve contact, because they do not want to be able to feel the same pain that they felt before.
Yeah.
Women tend to, and this is a temperament thing. This is not a full generality. 100%, right? But the temperament of women is that they're going to go, I don't want that. I don't need that. Get away from my face. And they're going to start treating people unkindly and more. And I don't know if it's more masculine, but they will treat people in a harsher way than they would previously.
So like a reactionary impulse.
Yeah. It's a defense mechanism, right?
Yeah.
It's what we do to be able to defend ourselves, to be like, hey, I don't want to get hurt.
Yeah.
But are you mature enough to go through hurt, to go through suffering, to be able to then, which is weird, suffer less, quote unquote. You know?
I think if you go into dating and you have this wall built up, you don't want to be vulnerable. You're not going to tell the person how you actually feel. If it's like you're getting into dates, you're not going to be open and openly communicate if you like that person, if you're showing an interest, like, oh, okay, I'm actually like starting to see a future with you. I think that this is going very well. There's a lot of people that aren't willing to do that because they think that they are going to get hurt. So they're going to build up these walls to not deal with that. But at the end of the day, you're losing the game, because you could have just been honest and transparent and not have lost that person that you were forming a connection with, but you didn't want to be vulnerable because you didn't want to be disappointed. You didn't want to face that, oh, maybe they don't feel that same way about me. But at the end of the day, I'm like, it doesn't matter anyways. If they don't like you, if they don't feel the same way about you, it's going to end the same way.
Yeah.
So I don't understand what the game is. I would much rather be honest with you, be caring, treat you with respect, and be open with that. And if you don't like me, then it's going to end in the same way that it would if I was just harsh.
Honestly, I think it's a coward's game. I think that you are legitimately a coward. I think that you are completely scared of everything.
Yeah.
If that's the game that you're gonna play. Now, you do what you want, whatever. I don't care really at the basis of a freedom level. But at the same time, like, not everything is good for you.
No.
Not everything is good for you that you're going to be doing, right?
No.
And so if you're not even going to attempt to play the game, or if you just put the video game on easy mode, you're not gaining anything. You're actually just going to go deeper into the hole that you created for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not learning from anything. You're not gaining anything from
None.
it. Yeah. You're staying stagnant. You're staying in place. And it's almost like you're not open or willing to learn from these experiences because you've just created the wall or this defense mechanism, and you're like, ooh, get away.
Yeah, and it's just rampant, and hookup culture does that. And not like I'm not even getting into, this is just the characteristics of what's happening with it. I'm not even getting into the chemical and biological happenings from hooking up, from having sex with multiple people, right?
Yeah.
Of the like, what is it? The pair bonding, which I don't like that term. That just feels like a new term that people are just making up for something that has
whole lot
been
of words.
a thing for the past 6,000 years. And like, we feel like, oh, science has this new word. It's called pair bonding. It's like, really? Because we should call that commitment. Wow. How about that?
Yeah.
And so it's a spiraled black hole that we can definitely get into, but you just have to give me some ammo and I will go.
So we covered the red flag, the connection.
Yeah.
We're just
I mean,
going
we
along
got
the
more. We have
conversation.
more red
Yeah.
flags if you want, but
So would you go out with someone that doesn't go to church or that doesn't have your same exact values? Maybe they don't have all of them, or like, maybe they're missing one of the big ones, but they have very good qualities and other things.
That's a loaded question, because I think that we make lists. And I think that we as humans are too dumb to make our list.
Oh,
And
yeah.
what I mean by that is that we will put on things that don't even matter onto a list, and we are missing out on incredible people because we're looking at the completely wrong thing.
Yeah.
Girls do it. Girls will be like, we want the 6'2", we want the $500K a year, we want the blah blah blah. Guys will do it. I want a girl with a nice rack. I want girls who are who are 5 inches shorter than me. Blah blah blah. Right, but that completely misses the character of a person, and I think that is the key. And here's the thing: I have been in relationships where I have not been super attracted to the girl up front.
Yeah.
But there was a spark there because I was like, oh my gosh, I like talking to this person a lot, right? And that person ended up being more attractive to me in the entire relationship than any girl that I started out that I was like, this girl's
Physically
hot,
attractive.
right?
Yeah.
But that physical beauty and that physical attraction just like massively grew. Just through emotional, mental, spiritual.
Yeah.
And so that's why I look at the values of my non-negotiable, it is a list, but it's a non-negotiable list of character starting, as opposed to physical characteristics or anything like that. So would I date somebody who didn't go to church? Probably not. Within the confines of does she go to church? I mean, does that mean, does she know the Lord? Does she love Jesus and she just hasn't found a church? You know what I mean? But like generally, if you're saying not go to church because she doesn't know the Lord and she doesn't believe in God, no. Because that's why would I do that to myself? That's then making my relationship harder for the values and roles that I believe that we have. And I think we do throw around the word gender roles quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of things that men and women agree on for gender roles. The problem is when we get specific about them. And that's when, girls will be like, I can do whatever you want. Sure, you can. But are you going to do that? Is that going to be the best use of your ability? Just doing the things that I can do? No. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
More red flags for you. There you go.
Yeah, I love gender roles. And the only reason why I asked that question is I always say that I don't date libs. And that is one of my things is I would never consider, that's like my box that should not be checked when dating.
100%.
And then everything else I will say I did used to date with a list of things that I'm just like, he's got to do this. And it wasn't like anything physical, because would much rather connect with a person with conversation.
Yeah.
And to me, that defines if I'm attracted to them.
Yes.
It's not what they look like, because you can meet an objectively attractive person and you know that they're objectively attractive, but if there's no actual connection, I'm not attracted to you. I know that you are a good looking person and other people will look at you that way. But if there's nothing there, I'm not attracted to you. So I think the list is just kind of silly in that sense.
Sure. What do you mean that, what do you think that is from like, what do you think it is to have that knowing somebody is good looking, but not being attracted to them? What do you think is the spark that makes somebody
it's the
attracted?
emotional intimacy part of it. Like
That makes someone attractive?
But can you do that like immediately in like meeting somebody, right? That's a question.
No.
I think the emotional intimacy, it's a slow burn, like you said. Those slow burn relationships, at the end of the relationship, it is so much hotter. Like, and I mean hot in the sense of passion. Like you have so much passion for that person, and it's something that builds. The thing is, when you meet someone that's very attractive, or you just have that immediate connection, sure, that's great. But a lot of the times it's so hot and it's like so much all at once and it burns out so fast and you have nothing else burning. Like if you are building this relationship, you find out these things and they unfold throughout the relationship, like love, respect, loyalty, and it turns into so much more. You make memories. You are building this thing versus you meet someone, it's so hot at first. You haven't figured out everything that you would have in a slow burn relationship. And then it's just kind of done, but before it even gets started type thing.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the funny part that we follow is that we tend to agree that our body's desires are not always the best course of action, right?
Yeah.
I would love to just have 2 pizzas a night and, some Ben and Jerry's and it's like, be like, yo, this tastes good, but I feel horrible. I'm going to get fat immediately. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why am I giving into my body's desires as opposed to directing my body's desires? You know what I'm saying? The Bible says that the heart is deceitful above all things. Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah.
So why am I allowing my heart to have that initial spark and I'm going to go, oh, I get to follow that, as opposed to, hold on, let's look at that. Let's examine that a little bit. Let's see, does this person have any of the characteristics that I want my wife to have? Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's what it is. She's just hot.
They're like, oh, I didn't like you. It turns out you were just hot.
Boys, come on.
It's so true. And I've seen that while in this dating world is you can go on a date with someone and I will know there's a spark here. Like there's chemistry. I'm attracted to you.
Yeah.
And then I just won't go out with you again. I think that you're attractive. They probably know that they're attractive. They have that confidence, but I'm not going to see them again because the conversation wasn't great or I didn't connect with them the way that I have the standard to. And I think, conversations need to be deep. I think you go on a lot of, in the dating world today, a lot of things are just surface level. And it's so hard to break that, to have a deep conversation. A lot of people are not willing to break that surface level.
Yeah. I think another problem with our society and red flag for just people in general is that we take deep things as things that should just be talked about.
Yeah.
We have traded deep thinking for this space of you can only go there with like your partner and like a couple other people. When that was used to just be the basis of conversation was, hey, what is this idea that you have? Let's change it. Let's what's the word? When you juxtapose it with another idea next to it, let's talk about that. That's deep conversation.
Yeah.
So what is this idea that we even have of, like, I have a whole list. I've got like 40 questions that I ask women over time when I'm dating them. Because you got to know, like, why would you expect that you want to go on the same vacations if you never talk about it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why would you expect, we probably will both want 4 kids when she wants 4 and you want 1 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I have this whole list of things, but why don't we just be able to, like, these things should be commonplace to talk about.
Oh, yeah. So what are some questions that people and that maybe you ask on a first date?
That I ask on a first date. Okay, so my first date is a little bit different. So since I usually do all that stuff, I always want my first date to be fun and kind of like, can this person talk? Can this person get into things? So I actually ask a list of questions like, hey, first question I ask is usually, hey, if you could go to dinner with anyone in the world, if they were dead or alive, who would it be and why? Wow. You get to really know somebody that way.
Yeah.
Hey,
interesting.
If you had a day completely for free, what would you do and why? Because because one of the things that questions can do when you are in a entry level dating is that you can lead the questions.
Yeah.
Which means that they can kind of get an idea of like what you want them to say, right? If you're like, hey, what are you not like? Do you go to church? Usually when somebody asks that question, they want to they're hoping you say yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They're not like, do you go to church? And they're going to say yes and be like, oh, I'm out, right?
Yeah.
Most likely not going to happen. So you can kind of lead the question a little bit. When you ask open-ended questions like that, there's no lead. So like you're going to get truth out of what they say. So that's how I start it. And then second date, I usually get into a lot of stuff like, hey, what do you like? Do you believe in God?
Yeah.
You know, what is your pathway with that? What is your history? Tell me your story.
Yeah.
And then usually third date, I have a really fun date. Like we just go do something fun and but like that's the idea. How many kids do you want? Which people are like freaked out by that question up front. Just like, I got to know, I don't want to waste my time. My time is valuable. I could be either building a business, hanging out with my friends, hanging out with my family, or rather we're just kind of hanging out with each other because we think that each other are kind of attractive.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No, I'm good. I'll pass on that. I mean, like those are the questions like, hey, what kind of roles do you think that men should have in a relationship? What kind of roles do you think women should have in a relationship? Hey, what do you think about our current state of affairs with America? What do you think about our current state of affairs with the entire world as it is? Like, these are questions that you should be asking, because you get to know what people's political views are, religious views are, how they want to be able to move forward in life. And I don't think we even know to ask these questions. I don't think we can. I think most of us don't even think of, oh, that's a question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a question, and it's something that you should absolutely have. And if you ever want like a really fun thing to do, you should go through divorce listings, and you can go through reasons of why people got divorced.
Oh, gosh.
And you can be like, hey, maybe I should talk about that beforehand.
Yeah.
So I avoid this
great
divorce.
idea.
You know?
I think
How do you handle money? Are you in debt?
Yeah.
You know? Do you
it's
have a plan
important stuff to talk
if you are
about.
in debt? 100%.
And people don't talk about these things. And especially, I think it's important to front load. I want to know all of this right off the bat. I don't want to waste my time. If we're not in the same place and we're not looking for the same thing, what are we doing here?
Yes.
I don't want to continue that.
100%.
It's just going to be resistance. It's going to be really hard on both of us, especially if, you know, have that connection and we are not looking for the same things. It's just pointless.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people in society, it's not looked at as, why are you, people question why you're asking these things on a first date. Why would you ask them if they want marriage? Why would you ask them how many kids they want? It's so, people think that it's weird to talk about this on a date, but I'm like, wait, we're dating to marry? That should be the purpose. We're dating to marry. Mm-hmm. Should you not want to know all of this?
We're not dating to marry anymore. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
No one is dating to marry, actually.
And
everyone's dating for the next hookup.
Well, that's what I was getting at with the emotional part of it. It's even first date, second date, third date. Like, no one, it seems like today, especially, and this was a question I wanted to ask you both, is it harder to date now with social media and online apps and things like that, when like there's so much facade going on, and like you're like, wow, that person looks really attractive on Instagram, but then they show up and you're like, woof.
I mean, it's easier for me, but I would say that it's harder for most men.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
Not because every woman is now getting 10x the attention that that she got before.
Yes.
Right. And even someone who objectively would be a, 4 to 6 on a, objective attraction, physical only scale, right?
Yeah.
Is still getting 10x the attention that she got before.
So is it a red flag for you if a girl's Instagram is public?
If it's public, no.
Okay.
But when a girl's Instagram is full of
booty shots and quotes that say, my life is amazing. Look at my ass.
Right. That's the obvious one. Like, sure, if you're like doing the whole thing where like you're on the beach and like you're looking back and like your thong is hanging out. You're like, what is happening?
And it's like, look at the beautiful sunset. Girl, look at your booty.
I mean, my Instagram is full of those, but I digress.
Yes.
Go check it out. No, those are the obvious ones, right?
Yeah.
But even like the ones where just like, when girls don't smile in their photos, when it's just like, unless like you're like a pure model and you're like, this is what I do and this is only what I use it for, right? But if you're not smiling, if every shot is of you is showing too much skin, like red flag. I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
Because not only is every guy able to look at that, every guy is wanting that.
Yeah.
And you, I'm sorry, at the end of the day, are responsible for posting it.
Yes.
You are not responsible for what they say, but you are responsible for posting it.
You shared it. You wanted the attention.
Right. And so whatever they say, I will rebuke men for that too, because men are weak 100% when it comes to that stuff. And I actually really feel bad for women right now, because women only want this 1% of men, but it has become such a scale of like it's 0.01%, right? When that scale should actually go farther, right?
Yeah.
Now, at the same time, there's a lot of stuff that women have that they don't realize the extent of depravity for men, and also how hard it is to be a man, and all of these things. Like, they're missing it on a major scale. That's why like the feminist movement gets on my nerves, and not because I value women very highly.
Yeah.
My sister's about to have a baby, so I'm doing whatever she wants for this entire week, right? So literally she can call me at like 2 a.m. and be like, well, I want blah, blah. And she has a husband. So she's fine, but I will do that anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I value the women in my life very highly.
Yeah.
But I don't think women understand the difficulties it is, right? Because it's the feminist movement. It's the hey, you have so much more than I have. When in fact, you're just like, men were just as oppressed as women, if not more oppressed for the longest time in history. Yeah. Because we were the ones who died in battle. You know, Andrew Schultz does a joke on this. He's literally just like, women, time to fight for equality perfectly. And it's so true.
I know what joke you're talking about.
And he's just like, you know, 5,000 years we were fighting lions, tigers, bears. And he's like, you women were like, yeah, boys, you do that. Oh, you are brave, right? We're going to go pick the berries. Yeah. You know, and as soon as he was like, and as soon as the AC got into a building, you're like, we want equality.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's so true.
Yeah.
After everything was, all the hard stuff was done. Yes. Now we're like, okay, well, now we can be equal.
Right. Oh, you want AC in that building that men built? Oh, and here's the thing, why did men build that? Why did men build that?
For men to work in it.
That's fair. But why would they work in it?
To provide for their woman.
Boom.
Yeah. Family.
Crazy.
Yeah. What a concept.
Yeah. Yeah, it is so interesting, especially you see feminists, the toxic femininity in the dating culture. Mm-hmm. You can see it so clearly. And, you know, I date men, so I'm not really sure what it looks like for you, but having friends.
You saying I date men? What did you say? Right?
Well, I said I date men, but you date women, so you see it more. The toxic feminism, I don't see it because, you know, I see toxic masculinity. But, you know, just seeing it in culture, women are so complex with their femininity or their toxic feminism in dating. Like, they want men to pay for the first date, but they also want to go on dates with like 6 other men too. Yeah. And they want the respect, like, you better not be seeing anyone else, but I'm going to go see 6 other guys this week. Right.
Which is a complete lie that women have been told this entire time, is that you should be able to do that. You should be able to do whatever you want because your WAP is perfect. And that's what gives you value. Yeah. And you're like, what are you talking about? What would happen if I went around and said my genitalia, male genitalia, gave me value? Y'all would think I was nuts.
Well, I mean, that's a perfect example of music and culture today is...
Oh, Hollywood. It's a whole... Yes.
But, you know, in the 90s, rap music, and even in the 2000s, men rappers would talk about that kind of stuff. And I didn't listen to it because it's nasty. It's vulgar. I don't need to hear that. My ears don't need to hear it. My brain doesn't need to be infested with it.
Sure.
But when Cardi B or whoever, Megan Thee Stallion, I don't even know because it's crap. It's crap. Comes out with a song that stands for that. It was Cardi B for sure. The song that stands for that. What message are you sending to women? Like, not a good one.
It's the devaluing. Like, let's teach women how to devalue themselves so much.
But that's the problem, is that they don't think it's a devalue. They think it is an increase of value.
So you think that any man having access to you, that values you. To me, access is the highest value is where you cannot get access to. It's not everyone has access to it, and that's high value.
Because they feel like they're doing what men have done for centuries, which is complete BS. Yeah. Men have not done that for centuries. There was a very small subset, very small percentage of men who were able to do that for centuries. Mm-hmm. So don't bring this on all of men.
We're all victims.
We're not, and we're all victims in scenarios. Famous people are victims of crazy things too.
Men? Like, why is it just white men? That's what I don't understand. Men are part of the human race. It's men and women. There are 2 of us. There's 2 genders. So why is it only one race of that gender? I don't understand it. Why is it just white men that get hate on so much?
Because we have to put something on them. On that specific race, we have to do something to, you know, make things equal, but, you know, at the same time, make everyone a victim. It doesn't make any sense. It's nonsense.
No. I feel bad for you.
Yeah.
You should.
You
should.
I do.
I'm going to give you my Venmo and everybody my Venmo after this. You can
$5.
Reparations, right?
This poor white man. You are a victim.
Thank you. God, I've been waiting for somebody to tell me this for so long. Affirm me, please.
You're like, this is me too.
I'm going to start wearing a penis hat everywhere.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah, I should.
I'm impressed. It's a shame.
Yeah.
And women
straight
have
white
done
men,
this to me.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to be expecting a check, ladies. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
It's a tragedy.
So, there's this statistic that I really hold on to and that I've talked about a lot, and probably just because I'm maybe trying to justify why I'm single. So it could be that. It's a little biased. I read it, and Jordan Peterson has talked about this statistic as well. It's very interesting. So it must be true if Jordan Peterson says it, but...
High likelihood, yeah.
Yes, there is a statistic that
You
says...
have to read it like him, though.
Oh, gosh. No.
Yeah.
Do you want me
On
to
1 to
try?
10, how's your impersonations?
Let's see.
Yeah.
There was a stat. That's I can't do it. Intelligent women. It almost sounds like Kermit the Frog. I love you, Jordan, but no.
I won't even try.
No, I won't try. It was bad.
So there's a statistic that says intelligent women are single longer.
Oh.
What do you think about that? Why do you think that this could be true, or do you just want to completely debunk it?
It's 100% true. Like you can't get past it. Why? How does that not make sense to be true? 100%. More intelligent women are single longer. That's the statistic.
Mm-hmm.
Listen.
Validate me.
I'm sorry. Someone's put her tiara on and is ready to go.
I'm ready. Ears.
Wow.
My ears are listening.
Hey, why won't people date me as I am so smart?
I'm so sorry.
Wow. All right. First off, women who are smart, who are single longer, I do not think are wrong. Just like I don't necessarily believe women need to de-alpha themselves. I think they need to find men who are more alpha. That does not mean that you are more masculine. You still maintain your alpha femininity, right?
Yes.
There's a very fine line between alpha and masculine and alpha and feminine.
Yeah.
All right. Still there. But no, it's not wrong. It makes perfect sense, because why would someone who can be able to talk on a higher level,
Yeah.
why would they not want that equaled? Because that actually makes more sense to me than people who are who are variants in physical, right?
Yeah.
Some people who are the same hotness level.
Yeah.
I know, and I'm like, I don't know why you guys are together because you cannot have a good conversation to save your life. But someone who might be hot and smart, but sort of hot and super smart as well, when they meet up, like I said earlier, that attractiveness level just massively increases.
Yeah.
Right? All at one time.
Yeah.
But I mean, that makes perfect sense. Plus, Jordan Peterson's like hardly ever wrong, so that helps.
He is kind of a genius.
I agree that it comes down to the sense that you have to have a good conversation with someone. When I'm looking for an intelligent man, it's not that I'm looking for a rocket science. I want someone who's emotionally intelligent and that can talk about deep things, thoughtful conversations.
I will say that sometimes women think that they want to talk about things that they don't actually want to talk about. Mm-hmm. They think that they think that they want to have the same conversations as they have with their girlfriends to their men. Yeah. And when you find that in a guy, you will always 100% of the time end up not attracted to them, leaving, wanting to move on, because you're like, why don't we just be a man? Mm-hmm. Well, you chose a girl. You chose a smart girl is what you chose. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk, y'all.
That was really good. I think it's a different perspective on the dating culture because we are moving towards a godless society.
Yes.
So it makes it very hard to date in the sense to find someone that doesn't just put Christian in their bio, but actually loves God and goes to church and worships and prays and is an active Christian, not just posting that they're a Christian, that it's in their bio, but they are an active Christian, willing and doing those things that they need to do to grow their faith. That is so rare. It is so difficult to find. So when you go into this dating culture, a lot of these people are just, they're doing all of these things that are red flags, but in reality, it's godless. It's nothing more than being godless.
Oh, we're not godless. We've just moved our God, and we are now our God.
Yes. We are very selfish.
Self-worshiping.
Because that is, hey, my desires come first. Yeah. Hey, I feel this way, so this comes first.
Yeah.
There is no self-denial, no responsibility, no check on our do's and don'ts, our green flags, our red flags, right?
Yeah.
Everything is a green flag because I want to do it. And how can my desire be wrong?
Yeah.
So check your own red flags.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that is great. It's a great way to look at dating, and people shouldn't be dating. You do you, but personally, in my dating realm, if I'm dating someone, like we are dating to marry, or I'm not playing to waste time. Mm-hmm. And like you said, there's better things to be doing than just wasting people's time and getting attention, because the attention that you are seeking should not be coming from all of these people. That's not the attention that you should be putting your time into. Mm-hmm. So I think that really comes down to finding someone that is on that same path, that is growing in their faith, and that is open about that, and that is dating to marry.
Someone who has answered that question to me. Mm-hmm. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that will make everything so much easier. Because if you can self-deny yourself that much, you can change a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Well, dang, I don't want to talk about red flags anymore. That one's just blown out of the water. That one's gone. We don't need, red flags aren't a thing. They just need to love God and date to marry. And
you're just going to change. Like, it's not that the red flags go away, right?
Yeah.
Because they're obvious. Like, hey, check what's in your own eye, right?
Yeah.
Before you go out. But you're not going to change if your heart's not behind it. That's why people will have these same conversations that we have right now. Mm-hmm. They will still go out. They will still go get drunk. They will still have sex. Mm-hmm. They will still, do whatever, do what you want. That's not my point. My point is you will do all of the things that you don't want to do because you don't actually believe it. Yeah. Because there was no heart change from the inside out. So start your heart change. Your behavior is going to come. I promise. It's not going to be instant, but it's going to come. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's how you're going to fix your red flags.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dang. Well, I was going to say my red flags in men.
Come on, let's go. We can do this.
But it's now it's like, you're dating. If you are seeing these red flags, you're dating the wrong people. But I think you have to date the wrong people to know more of what you want.
No, come on. Let's go red flags in men. Because I want to know what red flag y'all have seen in me too. So
okay. Okay.
Besides the fact I'm perfect,
generally, when I go on a date, and, I ask a man, what is he looking for? What are you looking to get out of dating? Uh-huh. And they say that they're still figuring out their dating goals. Immediately done. No second date there. Mm-hmm. That's just a veto for me.
Oh, you just want to hook up? I got you. Oh, okay. I'm good.
Look at me.
Yeah, I just know that you want a wife coming into this and be prepared for that. And you need to be at that point in your life where you are ready for that.
Here's the question. Why do you think that men are not ready, though? Why do you think that that's a red flag that so many men have?
I think it comes down to masculinity. I think a lot of men don't know what they want in life.
Sure.
And they also don't know what they want in women. I think that it's because they have all of these other women that are also willing to just put out so easily. Mm-hmm. Like, why sit on dates with me when you could just go on a date with some girl and get what you want with her? Mm-hmm. So it's like the market. You have to see what's going on in the market, and it could be that.
Right. So we can say masculinity, right? But what do you mean masculinity, and where did that actually start to degrade?
When women got the right to vote.
Oh, we're going there. Okay. Yeah. Oh, you mean when they didn't want to do the draft, they still wanted to vote? That whole thing?
I don't think we should
they're
vote.
like, I want my...
You don't think women should vote?
Women should not vote.
Whoa.
Women should not vote.
Green flag.
100%.
Green flag.
I think that's when everything went downhill. Is when women got the right to vote.
We vote. Women are way too emotional, and we think too emotionally, and therefore we vote emotionally.
That is intense, and I like it.
It goes deeper.
When we go into the voting booth, we're going, well, Joe Biden cares for the gay community. I'm like, no, I want money and I want to make a living.
Ooh. Yeah.
I want to be secure in my bank account. I want to know that I'm going to be able to live a long life from the economy. I want to put food on the table. I don't care about these communities because life has to happen before that happens.
Because my community is going down the drain, right?
Yes.
So how can I help somebody else with it when I'm such in a poor spot, right?
Exactly.
Ooh.
But masculinity really just went downhill when women got the right to vote. And I think it has to do not just because women were liberated. It comes down to the fact of the household. Women were pushed to go out to work. They were taken away from their gender role, which is raising the children, taking care of the household. They got taken away from this. We had a nuclear family going, right? We had set gender roles. And when women got the right to vote, that was all destroyed. Women went to work. They weren't doing the things that needed to be done, like spending time with their children, making dinner, things like that a husband appreciates because he's out working all day. Like that is how things need to function. And no role is better than the other. However, we do have very different gender roles. And I think that that's when masculinity went downhill. It's because now men are out there working and they come home and the women just got home from work too. The children, their biological needs aren't being met. And also, I think that when a man votes, it helps bond the nuclear household in the sense that women are now looking for a partner that's going to be a good father and that's going to vote as a household. It keeps things more of a unit.
Yeah. I think women getting the right to vote was the catalyst for all that, because it was like, okay, vote,
It was like
okay, go work,
It was
don't
before,
have
it was
kids.
before that, but sure.
Yeah, it was like, go vote, don't have kids.
No, well, it was the World Wars is when it happened because
Baseball.
Because is that like a league of their own? Thank you.
Baseball did
That's
it
a
to us.
movie.
I know.
Wow.
There's no crying in baseball.
Okay, first off, blanket statement for me. I don't mind women voting because I think the women have a very good vocational sense and they do have an intellect.
Yeah.
However, when you allow any type of emotion, men or women, men will go and they'll go crazy, right?
Yeah.
So if you allow that emotional impact to impact what your logic says, yes, 100%, right? So I don't mind, but what I do mind is the fact that men's responsibility was taken away for so long, and it started in the World Wars because that's when all the men were shipped away to fight a war that should have been fought. Right? I'm not saying this like the bad things happening that we wanted to take care of, but as soon as they came home, then women had entered the workforce, so they didn't want to go back. So then men were stripped of their responsibility of everything that they were supposed to do. Right.
Right.
And then that was therefore the starting of the implode of the family, because then, like you said, kids were getting their needs met. They weren't being able to turn into boys and then therefore turn into men. We just started raising like babies.
Yeah.
That's why you see 30-year-olds without, still in their mom's basement because they don't know what to do, because there was never a trial by fire for them, which would happen in most societies at 13 to be actually turned over to be a man. In Sparta, they made you go outside and go kill a freaking wolf or whatever. And they're like, and if you don't come back, oh, that sucks.
Yeah, men.
And that was it.
Men need purpose.
We have to have a purpose. We have to have a responsibility. We have to have a mission. And this does not go against my previous statement at all about wanting to know what your purpose is and wanting to answer the question, because once those questions are answered, then we are able to actually go for that mission and destroy it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on. I know that we're just basically blindsided of what this was going to be, but I think we had some good conversation. So I'm excited for you guys to hear this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we got a boy's perspective, guys.
We did.
There are two genders and they're all at this table right now. So very exciting. Well, thank you all for coming on.
Yeah,
and
man.
Thanks for listening to Girls Gone Right.
We'll see you on the next one.
I just wanted to see how long he was going to wait.
Okay, so now we have to.
Y'all are rude.
Let's do a cover.
Oh, yes. This is going to be our...
Can y'all like attack me or something like that?
What do you mean? Wait, like, let's look at him like we're like mad or something. Because like we're talking about like feminism and things like that. Is this good, you think? Like... Okay, lots of options.
Yes.
Great. That is like the most awkward 5 seconds of the whole entire thing, hopefully. Right
You've
there.
never done theater.
Oh, that's right. You're like, I've seen it all.